All right, I want to bring this story back up. I heard about this story a couple years ago. I was blown away. Never saw an interview of the couple that it happened to. Uh, Not sure if you've heard this before. If you're watching this, you probably have. Most likely you haven't. But this Baltimore family um, who says their home value jumped nearly $300,000 after they quote unquote whitewashed it. So basically, they had an appraiser come in to value their home, and because they were black and just because they were black, their home value was $300,000 less than when they had a white friend of theirs stand in and and kind of act as the homeowner. So I wanted to share this not only because it needs to continue to be shared and known about, but also as we get into these lower interest rates, people are starting to sell their houses. People are starting to buy houses. Just be aware. I think all of us in the community need to be aware of this type of stuff if you have not been aware already. All right. So let's get into it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. It's Ricky Rich of Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.
A Baltimore family went viral last week detailing their alleged experience with home appraisal bias. The couple also filed a lawsuit, and in it alleged they received a low home appraisal because, quote, they are a black couple in a generally white neighborhood and because their home was adjacent to a majority black area. They sat down with our Larry Miller in their first television interview in their home.
The idea that the life that we built in this house would somehow devalue our property, that just was too hard for us to accept.
Dr. Nathan Connolly and Dr. Sean Imad are speaking out after filing a lawsuit against 2020 Valuations, its owner, and Loan Depot for violation of their rights. In their lawsuit filed last week, the couple says the owner of 2020 Valuations lowballed their 4-bedroom renovated home because they're a black family in a mostly white neighborhood.
This is really common, and people are now developing a language to be able to talk about it.
Like many Americans, the couple was looking to take advantage of historically low interest rates last year. After spending $35,000 on renovations, the couple decided to refinance their home. They filed an application with Loan Depot, a California-based mortgage company. The couple claims in their lawsuit everything went well, and the loan officer expected the house to appraise at $550,000. The lawsuit claims the loan officer believed the $550,000 estimate to be a pretty conservative estimate. But when the appraiser from 2020 Valuations arrived at the house, that's when the couple says the problems began.
When he came to our home, things just felt cold. He felt distant.
It was their first time meeting the appraiser.
And I remember feeling the tension so much so that I tapped my husband on the leg or the arm, like I shoved him. I was like, make him go say something funny to him. Right. Make him laugh.
Right. To lighten the mood.
To lighten the mood.
After the appraisal, they packed up for a family road trip to Florida for vacation. That's when they got the call.
The guy from Loan Depot calls us and let us know that the value of the house was $472,000.
The lawsuit claims the appraiser used a sales comparison approach to assess the home. That's when an appraiser uses recent sales of a similar home in the area to justify the value of the assessed home. The lawsuit states the appraiser violated professional appraisal standards by improperly limiting the geographic areas from which he considered properties to compare. The lawsuit adds, the decision to geographically limit the area from which he selected comparable sales reflected his belief that because of their race, Dr. Connolly and Dr. Mott did not belong in Homeland, an attractive and predominantly white neighborhood. The lower than expected appraisal caused their application to refinance with Loan Depot to be denied.
I think I get angry with the fact that you have Loan Depot, who saw what we were asking for as conservative.
Right.
And then we, during this very difficult time, still managed to put together
Right.
a rebuttal.
Right.
And they don't back us up.
Right.
They double down on the undervaluation of our home.
It was also during the trip that Dr. Mott learned that she was diagnosed with cancer. Months went by and they decided to go through the application process again, this time with another lender in a different appraisal company. And before the house was appraised, the couple removed any signs a black family occupied the house.
So then you start to get to the point where, you're looking for small fragments, right? Is there, a toy here or, a Christmas card there? And then you have to think about curating the house.
Instead of their proud artwork, they put up paintings like this.
We call them Appraising Jesus. This is Jesus knocking on the door.
A moment of levity, dealing with a situation they describe as embarrassing. Dr. Connolly even went a step further, asking one of his white colleagues to stand in during the appraisal.
When you got the number back from the second appraisal, instantly did you feel validated?
I don't know if validation is the right word. I think, again, I felt angry.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, why did we have to go through all of this?
The second appraisal would value the home at $750,000, nearly $300,000 more than the first appraisal from 2020 valuations.
Why did we have
Wild.
to strip ourselves of our house to get someone to see it?
We went to the address listed for 2020 valuations. No one answered the door, and our phone calls were not returned. Loan Depot provided us a statement but did not mention the lawsuit itself, saying, "We strongly oppose bias in the home finance process." They go on to say that while appraisals are performed independently by outside expert appraisal firms, all participants in the home finance process must work to find ways to contribute to eradicating bias.
I truly hate when they do I've said it several times before, but when the organizations that are being called out, whether it be police departments or private organizations, whatever, get called out, they put these little blanket statements out there that don't really say much anything, don't really do anything. Like, I'd much rather even for the news people, I'd much rather them just don't just say they never responded, because this just further irritates the entire situation. Like, you're just saying a bunch of nonsense, right? At the end of the day, what was wrong. At least acknowledge it, but you don't even want to acknowledge it. You just literally go and copy something from one of your training handbooks and send it off as a statement.
The couple is seeking both compensatory and punitive damages.
There's got to be a message sent to the mortgage industry.
Larry Miller, WUSA 9.
Larry and our team have been leading the way on exposing other allegations of home appraisal bias in the D.C. metro area. You can see all of his investigative work and his special report, What's Your Home Worth, on WUSA 9 Plus. That is streaming right after this newscast or on your own time on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. You can also find it on YouTube and WUSA9.com.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to share this because I know people we're getting into that area of buying and selling houses again, and this just makes it difficult all around. Because I once read a book. It's called The Whiteness of Wealth, and one of the takeaways that I had from that book was the author described how Black Americans have to make a decision when buying a home, right? A pretty big decision. You buy a home in a Black neighborhood, right? Even in a wealthy Black neighborhood, you buy a home in a Black neighborhood, and statistically, your home value is not going to go up as much or as fast as that of your home value if you were to buy in a white neighborhood, right? And so African Americans have to make a choice. Do I buy in a white neighborhood and be discriminated against and be looked at funny and be questioned about why I'm in this neighborhood for the rest of my life, really, for the rest of the time that I'm in this area, and put up with that, but I get a bigger bang for my buck? or do I go somewhere where there's a lot more people that look like me, the community is more diverse, but my investment does not go as far? And those are the two. Those are just that is the decision Black home buyers have to make in America when searching for a home. And to me, this right here just makes it even more complicated, right? It's like, okay, now even if I do go after the investment and buy in a, you know, a neighborhood where there's not a lot of African Americans, and therefore my value is going to go up, should go up in the house. Now I got to be cautious of, you know, appraisal, you know, racist appraisers coming in and lowballing and undervaluing the property after I've stayed in it for so long. And God knows how many times this had happened. They chose the right one. They chose the wrong one in their situation, but they chose the right couple to mess with. Both doctors, both educated, well spoken. No, you know, they understand what's going on. Didn't just take anything. Didn't just back down. Went a step further and even had somebody come in and stand in and see if maybe they just tripping, right? Like that whole ordeal was, you know, I'm sure the appraiser wasn't expecting that from them, and that's what happens, right? So, you know, shout out to them. Unfortunately, though, I will say I did read that the young lady, Shani Mott or Moat, the wife, unfortunately passed away due to that cancer battle that she was going through while all this happened. So my thoughts, prayers, and condolences to her husband and her family, and her children. So I guess I could just read this comment here. It says, she was an esteemed professor and intellectual. She passed away at the age of 47, 4 days before her 48th birthday. May she and her husband and children have peace. I'm glad she was able to prove bias and saw success of the lawsuit. So they did successfully sue. And yeah, March 16th, 1976 to March 12th, 2024. Also, she just passed away this year. Sad. This person just wrote this 4 days ago. Very, very sad. That, you know, even in her darkest days, right, of fighting cancer, she had to fight against something like this, right? Terrible for her and the family. So definitely send my condolences, my wishes, my love to the Mott family. But yeah, very, very interesting story. I really wanted to make sure I reshare this again. This popped up, talked about it with a friend of mine around the time a couple years ago, and but I never saw any type of video on it. So definitely had to share it. All right. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all let me know if y'all seen this before, or if y'all experienced this before, let me know. All right. I also wanted to share that I actually knew somebody who knew somebody knew somebody who knew a white individual that was basically selling his whiteness to do just what their friend did. You could pay him. I don't know how much it was, and I believe it stemmed out of this story. But you were able to pay him, and he would come and stand in and do exactly what they did and rearrange furniture and whatever you need to do to get what you may feel is the biggest bang for your buck when an appraiser comes in. So just to let you know, there might be an option out there for that if you don't have any white friends that are willing to do that. But if you do, that's an option, and that's very, very unfortunate that we have to do that. But at the end of the day, sometimes some of us would be willing to do what we need to do to ensure that we get what's owed to us, right? Even though it's not fair that we have to do it that way. But wanted to share that option before I got out of here, all right? So y'all let me know what y'all think, all right? It's Ricky Rich with Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.